This is the story of when I had a legit stalker. So back in 2018, I went to a rave with my friends and a guy approached her and I. So the guy approached us and he was offering to take our picture and stuff because we were trying to take pictures. We were like, oh, thank you. And then he was like, hey, can I actually have like your girls' phone numbers? I was not interested, neither was my friend, and we both were like, sorry, no, like thank you for the pictures, but no. So anyway, he goes, okay, well, can I have your Snapchat at least? And of course, me and my friend are so nice, too nice, learn from us. We gave him our Snapchats. So we give him our Snapchats, we wake up the next morning from the rave, and I realized, I think my friend did too, but he had kind of blown us up, like he just sent us a bunch of random messages. And initially when I gave him my Snapchat, I was like, I'm probably just gonna block him or unfollow him, whatever, because I really wasn't interested. Here's the crappy thing though, he had my name, and once he had my name, he knew how to look me up on Instagram. He looks me up on Instagram and follows me. I block him on Snapchat, and then I go on my Instagram and I see he's kind of doing the same thing, and I'm like, this guy's being really weird, so I go ahead and I block him on there as well. Also at the time, I was doing bottle service at a club, and of course, when you do bottle service, you have to post your job. So fast forward maybe a couple weeks, I'm working, and I'm not thinking anything of this guy. And all of a sudden I hear somebody say my name behind me, they go, Whitney. I turn around, and I realize it's the guy from the rave. So I turn around, I'm like shocked. I don't even remember this guy's name. Like, it was such a small interaction. And this dude actually looks at me and says, so you blocked me on everything, huh? And I was so shocked, I like didn't even know what to say. I was like I had no words, because I did block him. So he goes, have a good night. And then he walks away. And I'm thinking, okay, that's the end of that. So fast forward maybe like a month or two, we go to another rave. Good on us. And this is where it gets really interesting because this was a Halloween rave. So me and my friend arrive, we're at the rave, it's just her and I pretty much at this point. We had kind of split off from our group. And a guy approaches us, he has a mask on, and he goes, you girls are so beautiful. Doesn't take his mask off. And he's like, can I buy you girls a drink? I am extremely creeped out at this point, and I'm like, no. But my friend wanted a free drink, so she was like, okay. So she walks over, and I kind of step to the side. I have a weird feeling. So anyway, she's getting a drink, and I'm watching him like a hawk, because I'm like, what if he's like trying to do something to her? So he gets her a drink, and then he turns over to me and her, and he goes, you don't know who I am, do you? And I go, no. And this dude takes up his mask, and it's the same guy. Sorry, part two. Part two of when I had a stalker. So we're at the rave, this guy looks at us, and he goes, you don't know who I am, do you? And he has a mask on. He lifts his mask up, and all of a sudden, my stomach just drops. I'm like scared at this point. And my friend, she feels my tension, and I was trying to like non-verbally tell her we need to go because it was really, really scary. So we just kind of like, I grab her, I'm like, hey, let's get out of here. I kind of explain it to her, and she kind of gets really freaked out. We're both a little scared, but we're still trying to enjoy our night, and we walk away. So at the rave, I was taking care of my friend a little, and she was having a good time. Anyway, so I was pulling her through the crowd, and all of a sudden, I see a hand come out of the crowd and try to grab her. I see it, and I yank her. And I look back, and guess who it is? It's the guy, and he goes, come back. And I say, no. I have my friend. I'm like, no. And at this point, we are both so scared. Like, this guy is really freaking us out. And we were trying to find her cousins who had come with us because they were guys. But, in a rave, everybody kind of gets lost. It's kind of hard to find people. Stuff happens. So we go up to, there's, this upper deck area of the rave that we kind of were like, let's go up here. There's a lot of people. We just felt like it was a little more secluded. So I'm sitting at the railway looking over the concert. There's a girl next to me. I'm feeling a little better, but I was already shook up. The girl next to me walks away, so there's an opening. The guy walks up and stands next to me. And I'm like, oh my God. He looks at me and he goes, I don't understand what I'm doing to you, but I'm just trying to be your friend. And I'm like, I don't want to be friends. I don't want to be friends. And he goes, why? I didn't do anything to you. And I'm like, you're scaring me. You're freaking me out. I can't, this isn't good. I'm like, you need to leave me alone. And I'm just trying to be as basically cut and dry as possible. I'm like, leave me alone. And finally he's like, okay, fine. And he walks off. And I see him standing kind of near in the area, still watching me and my friend. So at this point, I think he finally starts to leave us alone. And her cousins ended up showing up. And then he all of a sudden vanishes. Sadly, the story doesn't end there, but if you enjoy this, for part 3. Part 3 of when I had a stalker. So after all the 2 really scary encounters I had with this guy, I went back to work, and to give you some context, I was doing bottle service at the time, so he did know where I worked at. And on this one particular night, I was chosen to bartend the welcome bar, so basically it's a setup at the front of the club. It's like a bartender or a bar essentially when you walk in the door. And the club I worked at the time, they had pretty good security. Like a security guard would be posted with like most people, and I had my own security guard. So I was standing at the front door, and you can kind of see the line out front of like people coming in. And I look out, and guess who I see? So I see him standing in line. My heart drops. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And I turn over to my security guard and I say, hey, do you see that guy? I point him out to him, and he goes, yeah. And I tell him, I'm like, that guy scares me. Right now he's not engaging in me, but if he comes up to me and says a single word to me, I want you to kick him out. And he goes, okay, no problem. So at this point, I'm like really grateful I at least have a security guard on my side, and he's like there to protect me. So we're standing there, the guy hasn't even looked at me, he hasn't talked to me, and I'm kind of like calming down a little bit. I'm like, maybe he's over it, you know, like hopefully. And right as I'm kind of getting like comfortable, a fight breaks out, and my security guard has to leave me for like just a little bit. So I get a little scared, but I'm kind of like calmed down because I'm in a really crowded place. I have like customers in front of me I'm talking to, so I'm not super worried. And then all of a sudden, while my security guard is gone, I'm standing at the bar making drinks, and I see the guy start trying to walk on the side of my bar to walk behind the bar where I'm working. So I get so scared that I'm sitting there shaking, and I'm kind of just trying to ignore him, and he's like saying, Whitney, trying to get my attention, and he keeps walking closer and closer to me behind the bar, to the point where I can't even focus. I'm trying to just talk to the people in front of me, and I'm praying my security guard comes back. So I'm just honestly at this point not even trying to make eye contact with him. I'm so scared. I'm like spilling drinks in front of customers. I think they kind of understood, like people were standing in front of me. They could tell I was scared. So the guy is pretty close to me at this point, and my security guard, thank God, comes back. And my security guard goes, dude, what are you doing behind the bar? Get out, you're 86, you're done. Like, you're not supposed to be behind the bar. So they kick him out. And this dude has the audacity to stand out front and say, I'm Whitney's friend. I know Whitney. And the security guards go, she doesn't want to be your friend, buddy. You need to leave. Until this day, I still don't know that guy's name.
Hey guys, get ready with me while I tell you a story time. This is about a girl that didn't like me in high school. Oh, I think she hated me for real, to be completely honest. We're gonna call this girl Stephanie. I guess you could say Stephanie was one of the popular girls in school. She had a whole group of friends. Like, I was friends with those group of people, but I wasn't friends with her, per se. It all started with me having a crush on this guy. We're gonna call this guy Ethan. So Ethan, I had a crush on Ethan. So you know how I said I was friends with everyone in her group, just not her, really? Yeah, well, she said she was gonna help me get with Ethan. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? This girl didn't do anything to help me get with him. Instead, the next day, she was flirting with him. And obviously he was flirting back, because, guys, you know. I didn't think much of it because I was just like, okay, I might be being dramatic or something. So I brushed it aside. But Ethan had a friend, and that friend liked me. I can tell this friend liked me because he was always hanging around me, always touching me. Not like that, but like touching me, like hugging me and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I'll just, move on. I guess Stephanie saw how close me and this other guy were getting Ethan's friends. So the next day, lo and behold, she was flirting with him too. And this guy's a player, we know that. He's a player, he flirts with everyone. Ethan's friend. We're gonna call him Jason. Jason flirts with everyone, so he was obviously flirting with her. So now I kind of realized that I liked both Ethan and Jason. So me and Ethan started getting close, and that made Stephanie mad. She was so mad at the point that she started leaving me out of things, because like I told you, I was friends with her friends. So she started like trying to take group pictures. Like she'd be like, okay guys, let's get together and take a group picture. And she knew that I wouldn't jump in because she was the one taking the picture, because we didn't really like each other like that. So I wouldn't just jump into her picture. But my sister was like, she knows what she's doing, like jump in the picture next time she does that. So that's what I did. She put her phone up and then she was the guy's picture, and I jumped in. I was like, oh, it was so funny because her face was priceless. She was mad. So bad up to the point where I just dropped. She was so like, she was the worst friend ever, like even to her own friends. I don't know if they didn't see it. No, they definitely saw it, because I remember them, the whole group, getting into like a huge argument because of her. She was hanging out with people that her friends didn't like, and she was talking bad about her own friends.